I'm on a lead,
So it's not too like.
You're going to lead?
You,
Oh, I'll be.
you're the legend.
So the legend speaks. I wanted to get something out of the way. Because which you may not know, my grandfather from Naples had 5 restaurants in Manhattan. He opened the first chicken rotisserie in New York, where they actually cooked chickens in the window.
All right.
And they had the first restaurant in Manhattan with an all-female orchestra. But that aside, he was an amazing, and I'm not saying it, because when I finally went back to Italy, I realized what an incredible chef he was. He was an amazing chef. I mean, unequivocally. And I have to tell you, on the record, and my family would agree with me if they were here now, I mean, you're cooking, and I've tried to live in Italy 4 times. I've been to Italy many, many times. I've been to Sicily as well. Your cooking is unequivocally some of the greatest Italian food there is, bar none. That's you. That's what you serve here in this.
I've never been to Italy though, you know that, right? So I've never been here, so I don't know what they do. All I know is, being born and raised in Philly, my grandparents came from Palermo, but it was hard for them to find their ingredients.
That was my question, because how did you learn this? Italian cuisine, Italian American cuisine specifically, is distorted because real Italian food is very light.
Very light.
And
yes.
a lot of Italian American cuisine is very heavy.
Very heavy.
And that's not real Italian cuisine.
Right.
So you could eat 4 or 5 courses in Italy.
In Italy, right.
And even on May Day when they serve meat, they serve it very lightly.
Right.
But I have to tell you, the delicacy of what you bring to the table is astonishing. I was here the other night, and you served maybe 7 courses. It was incredible. But I wanted to ask you, who were the influences in your life that you remember that you learned how to apportion, whatever it is, the garlic and oil? I mean.
Well, garlic and oil is a Sicilian dish, because I add the Sicilian anchovy to it, right? So the anchovy brings it to another level, and the toasted breadcrumb, because the Italians didn't have quality cheese. They couldn't get the Parmigiano Reggiano, so they would use toasted breadcrumbs. And that's how we serve it, but it's got to be quality. The oil's got to be up here, not mediocre. And we try to do that across the board. Even with the macaroni, there's I don't want to say names, say Di Cecco or Barilla, that are out there that are not, they're good. They're not bad, they're good. But there's other things, the other qualities that's out there that are much more expensive, and the quality of the pasta we say macaroni. The quality of the macaroni is rough and it's dried out longer, and you got to pay for that. And you cook it to order. That's 90% of restaurants today all pre-cook their macaroni. Now, if they got homemade, it takes 2 minutes, they drop in the water, then they put it out. But dry macaroni takes 12 minutes, 13, 14, 15. Now, if you got different cuts, 5 minutes, 12 minutes, 14 minutes, that's an art, just in cooking that, to come out. And we do it to order, so your macaroni is firm and hard. That's what makes us different than anybody else.
But who specifically?
My grandmother, my grandfather. Look, when I grew up as a baby, we didn't have alarm clocks.
Right.
You woke up Sunday, smelling a meatball frying. We didn't have bacon and eggs. You had a fried meatball. If the gravy was on, which we say gravy, we don't say sauce. You dip that fried meatball in the gravy. You went to heaven. And the Italian, my grandmother and grandfather had to adapt to the food that they were able to get here. Yeah. So what was there? Pig's feet, pork, gizzards. Liver, calf's liver, a lot of greens, broccoli knobs, scroll. And coming from Philly, you had seasons, so the summer was a little warmer. Things were a little lighter, but in the winter, you had sausage, scroll, and beans. You had chicken cacciatore. You had your Sunday gravy. You had a beef stew, veal stew, heartier stuff to keep you warmer. Yeah. But I watched, chicken cutlets, veal cutlets, simple. It's not that everybody can do it. You can. But you need quality, and a lot of people go about how much it's going to cost first before they put it on their menu. This is what I got to charge. So if the quality's not there, but the price is right, you get people coming in, but you might not get repeat people. I'm considered the most expensive Italian restaurant in the country. We're very expensive, but we're here 30 years, so we got to be doing something right. and my grandmother and my grandfather, watching them do what they did.
I remember when I was a baby, I lived with my Italian grandparents for a long time. My grandfather would be up at 5 in the morning. They had nine kids, 6 whom lived, and there were 12 people for dinner at the table every night. My grandfather worked all day long, but at 5 in the morning he would be up making octopus for the dinner table that night. And my question to you is, do you remember specifically how they prepared certain things? Obviously, it made a tremendous impression on your life.
Yeah, I mean, take for instance, okay, what did you call sugo? You called sugo, you would say sugo ragu in Italy, or would you say sauce across the board? If it had meat in it or it was just tomato basil. Is it just called sauce to you in Italy? That's what you know, sauce? Do you know what the word gravy means, or no?
Not really.
Okay. In Philly, we use the word Sunday gravy, which means every Sunday you made a pot of gravy, and you ate that same pot of gravy on Tuesdays and Thursdays, the same pot, which had pig's feet, spare ribs, sausage, brajol, and meatballs. But you ate that gravy Tuesdays and Thursdays. What made it different, why it wasn't the same, was a different cut of macaroni. So if you had rigatoni on Sunday, had percatelli on Tuesday, it was a whole different ball game. It was a different flavor, right? The texture of the macaroni. So that Sunday gravy and the meatballs is what put me on the map. You know, we're considered the best meatball in the world. Even the Food Channel just did a beautiful story on it, saying the best thing they ever eat was Martorano's meatball. Now, you had our meatball. We serve it with a salad. Now, Italian Americans would have a bowl of macaroni on Sunday, no meat. My mother would take, or my grandmother or grandfather take the bowl away, then bring out a bowl of meats with the sausage, brajol, and spare ribs and a big salad. And that's how you would eat it. I said, let's do something a little different. Let's do that as an appetizer. Give the meatball and salad with the red wine vinegar, and that's what made us famous. Is that? Yeah. Plus, I'm here every day.
And what is it? Just give me an example of what goes into preparing that meatball, though. This is not an ordinary meatball.
I'm gonna tell you. 99.9 of restaurants that have a meatball, they put it in marinara sauce. It's cheaper, right? You don't have to put nothing in it. It's just tomato basil. So you take a meatball, and most of them bake it. We fry it every day. You have to get a crust on that meatball. But what brings our meatball to that next level is the pig's feet, the skin brajol, the spare ribs, and the sausage. That flavors that, and you put that on top of a meatball, it takes it to another level. No one else is going to do that because it's too much money to do that. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. It takes a lot of money to make that dish.
And what is the basis of the
meatball, veal, beef, and pork?
And the basis beyond that? You cook it in garlic and oil?
No.
How do you prepare it?
My mother never really, well, they really didn't cook with garlic except saute a little bit. We use garlic, granulated garlic, to season a salad, to season meats. Never put fresh garlic. Some guys put fresh garlic in the meatball. We put granulated garlic. And we use day-old bread. So you need stale bread. It's got to be stale. And you cut them in cubes, and you run it under warm water, and you squeeze all that water. That's what makes the meatball softer. You never use Parmesan cheese. It doesn't really fit with that gravy. We use Pecorino Romano or Locatelli cheese. And we use eggs and parsley, no oregano, no raisins. Just some cities use raisins and pine nuts. I never had it that way. This is the way listen, when I was 4 years old, after we ate dinner, my grandmother used to call me into the kitchen. She would have pickled pig's feet. Have you ever had pickled pig's feet before?
No.
Where you from? You Italian?
Portuguese.
Portuguese. Oh yeah, you're good cooks. You're good cooks. Anyway, we had pickled pig's feet, and that's what I grew up with as a young kid. You know, so I was always surrounded by food. Like my grandmother, she was the rock of the family. Once she died, everything just. I think it happens in a lot of families. Once she goes, everything just spurts and disappears. But everything was based on that table that we talked about. As the format for a show, it's all based upon the kitchen table. That's where everything happened. Yeah. Somebody dies, somebody's going to get married, there's a fight in the family. It all happened at that table. Smoking cigarettes like it was crazy. Yeah.
So you mentioned a minute ago that you're here makes the difference. Explain that for a minute. Because most people don't understand what that means. I own a restaurant, I get it.
Okay.
What's it mean to you?
Well, an absentee owner, it's never, you can have all the cameras in the world. You got to be there. You got to see what people are doing. And you got to taste basically everything that's going out. I will not, listen, I got a restaurant in Vegas, I got a restaurant in Atlantic City, restaurant in Pittsburgh. How are they? I'm going to say they're 90%. They'll never be 150 when I'm here. Because what he got that day is what everybody else would have got while I'm here. If someone comes in for dinner, new, or a long timer, I'll send them something over. That's what Italians do. You walk to the house, my mother would say, sit down, you're hungry? No, sit down, you're going to eat. So as soon as you walk in, before you order anything, cuz, I'm going to give you something to eat. You know what I mean? So that's how I run this. I run it like it's my home, and you have to. I tried to tell you about this before. I never chased money. I never got in this business for money. I got in this business, got a passion for food. Yeah. I got a passion watching people eat and hearing people say, you took me back to my grandmother. You took me back to my grandfather. You took me back to my aunt. You took me, memories. If I could instill memories with people eating my food, it's a home run to me. You know what I'm saying? That's passion. I don't know too many guys that really had. There's a lot of restaurateurs and they're business guys and they're great. Me, I'm still a mom and pop guy. I'm still a mom and pop business. Like I said, I started cooking because out of my basement. You understand that? I had a flyer and I put on people's cars and mailboxes, and I have to take the phone off the hook because I had nobody to answer. When I got home, I put the phone on the hook. Then I got a phone call. I took the order. I got in my car, delivered it, came back, put the phone back on the hook. That's how people think, well, did you go to school? No, I just self-taught and watched my grandmother, grandfather, and my aunts cook.
It's interesting you said that because I really believe that cooking and food is part of our living memory. Memories are fast disappearing everywhere. But the point is that when you give people back their memory, in a sense, it does create a certain hope. You know, that the foundations of what our lives were are no longer here today.
Yes, sir.
They're not here.
Yes, sir.
I mean, when I say that as a child, I would grow up at a table of 12 people, it doesn't exist anymore.
No more.
You know what I mean?
No more.
And my point is that what you do, in a sense, when you have a cuisine as remarkable as yours, I mean, you do, in a sense, tap into the memory of their life. I mean, I don't say that lightly.
Right.
Because I never took it for granted.
Yeah,
you know? So,
well, everything's food. You wake up in the morning, you say, what am I going to eat?
Everything.
Then someone calls and you say, hey, what do you want to meet for lunch? And then you're already ready to plan your dinner. And that's the time that you can spend with your family or friends and get to enjoy it. Yeah. The things that get said at a table, I mean, unbelievable. That's the time
all truth comes out. All truth comes out.
It's the way we connect. It's the way we connect.
Yeah, you could be yourself, right? You could be yourself. Everybody's in a hurry today. Everybody wants to eat and keep going, like they're missing something. But they don't realize that the best time to be with people is at a table and eating together. I think this is the best.
The best, absolutely. Yeah. How do you see the world today? Things are so different. I'm
glad that I grew up at a time that I did. I think I'm glad I was born in 1957. I think I'm glad I grew up in the 60s and 70s. If I grew up today, it's sad to see where the world is going to. I think we lost a lot of respect for people. I think there's a lot of hatred, there's a lot of jealousy in this world today, and it's sad. I never understood. I used to tell people, if I have something, if I have a nice car and you don't, and you say to me, Steve, can I use your car to go out with a date? Here's the key. You're like, I don't have to go on a date, need a watch? Here's my watch, get back tomorrow. That's what friendship is. That's what people don't have today. It's all, how did he get this watch? How did he get that car? What the fuck did he do for that? You know what I'm saying? So that's what, if I could change something, I would get rid of the hate that people have for each other. It's sad because if we help each other, we can be someplace even bigger than we are now. You know?
Yeah. Well, I watch you on Instagram.
I don't think I'm nuts.
And it's, no. And it's inspirational.
No, but you have a tremendous, what many people probably don't know about you, that you have tremendous faith. And you do deliver messages of hope constantly to people. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I mean,
where did you get that? I mean, I got it from just God knocked me down so many times. I just got back up again. But I'm pointing, God knocks all of us down.
All of us down.
All of us down all the time. But my point is, what drew you to have the incredible strength of faith that you do, which is remarkable, because you really do give people hope now.
I'm I'm trying to be a living testimony. It's not easy. Now, listen, we all fall, right? Christ fell 3 times. Peter denied him 3 times. I mean, we're all sinners. But when I grew up as a Catholic, so the Catholic Church instilled something in me growing up. But I wanted to be a priest. You got this on camera, cause I wanted to be I wanted to be a priest. And my father laughed at me. You know, no priest is going to be over here, right? And with that being said, I always put my family first, so I stepped away, but God always was here. I put him in the back room sometimes, and I thought I could do it on my own. But like you get knocked down a lot of times, but when you're young, you can get back up. You get to the point when it gets a little hotter, and you can't, and it gets a little harder where you're like, I can't get up no more, man. And you reach out, and God never left you. He's just waiting there for you. And when you say to him, you know, I know you're there. I know you're my Lord, you're my Savior. I know you died for my sins. I need help. I can't do this no more. Yeah. And that's when he puts his hands out, and you grab them hands, and he picks you up, and you have to go through bad shit in your life to appreciate God. You have to. No ifs, ands, or buts. And growing up, and I was part of that street world. I was part of that street. I did a lot of things that I am not happy about. But I had to make a decision, and I had to say, either I'm going to do it for me or do it for God. And I made the decision to do it for God. Now, what does that mean? People think when you bring God in your life, life's going to be rainbows, and it's going to be perfect, and money's going to come in, your health is going to be. Let me tell you something. Wow! You get hit harder when God's a part of your life. You get tested because the devil is real. Don't think he's not. Yeah. He wants to steal your joy from you, right? So what God does, he's there. He doesn't bring any bad, but he protects you because he gets you through everything. And without him, who knows what you would do. Like, I just lost my son like 1.5 years ago. How do you do that? The fuck do you do that to me? The fuck you do that to me? You did that too? And I didn't do nothing. I didn't take your son. Just free will and things happen. But he's in a good place. And you'll see him one day. And I took that anger, I threw it out, and I said to myself, how many other people are going through some hardship and they don't have anybody to talk to? Or their family's telling them you're crazy. You want to be a priest, or you'll become a religious fanatic, you're nuts. And if your family goes against you, you leave everything. So I said, let me put it out. Listen to me, I'm the biggest sinner in the world. I'm not a saint, don't claim to be a saint, but I know the difference between right and wrong. I know what it's like to suffer. I know what it's like to lose a father, a mother, and a son. I know what it's like to lose those people. And if you can give that little bit of hope that somebody's about to give up, I cried over here with you, man, because the shit hits me, right? When I talk about God and his love, it's so real that this is not tears of a punk. It's just tears of joy and love that he has for me. That when shit hits the fan, I know that he's there to help me and get me through. But when I see people that are about to hurt themselves, I get over hundreds of people. One kid was about to jump off a bridge. True, not true. I got nobody to talk to. I'm on the bridge. I'm on a jump, Steve.
What?
What the fuck do I do, man?
What
do I do? Give me your phone number. Let me call you. I sit there and I try to talk him out of it. Yeah. I guess I did because he texted me the next day. There are a lot of people out there that are hurting. You just gotta give them hope. Yeah. Nobody said it's easy. Nobody said it's going to be easy. But without hope, you don't have anything.
That's right. Absolutely.
And I think it's that passion they see on Instagram that gives them that hope.
Yeah, but there's a lot of fake. How do you know somebody's real, right? You have to really live by example.
Sure.
Yeah.
That means in the world, when you're out in that world, you got to live the way you claim to live. Not say be perfect, because I get a beef with somebody, I want to strangle the fucking guy, right? I mean, I got to say, dear Lord, help me, please help me, get me through this, but whatever. No. So my point is, every day you wake up, every day's a struggle, and you know it's a struggle. But if you know that that God will help you get through it, no matter how bad it is, no matter how many times you're knocked down, you're going to get up. No matter what happens in your life, knowing that He's going to be there for you, no matter what. And when you got that kind of feeling in your heart, you can take on anybody, anything, any stress, any sadness, anything. You know, it's sad that we live in a time right now that there is no hope, none at all, and people are just jealous, hateful, and they just want what's theirs. You know, they just want like what's owed to them. Ain't nothing owed to us. You got to go out there and work for it. You got to go out there and hustle for it. You got to go out there and make something of yourself. Nobody's going to give you anything.
Yeah.